Hey, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Matters we hear. Let's see, one viewer. I don't know. This is my first time using StreamYard. In the past, when we do these lives, we use Ecamm. So today it's going to be a little bit different than our typical live streams. So videos live. I'm seeing people trickle in here. A little. Yikes! I don't want to hear that reverb. Close my iPad there, so I'm not. So it is live. All right. I see some viewers coming in. If you wouldn't mind just dropping in the comments, give me a little thumbs up and let me know where you're watching from, just to make sure that my StreamYard is working. I'm getting the comments. We can do some Q&A today. I've got a fleshed out agenda. What's up, Jason? Awesome. Glad it's loud and clear. As y'all can notice, this is a little bit of a new live streaming setup for me. My wife and I just got a new place recently, so this is the first time actually getting to break it in with the setup. I feel like I'm impersonating Rich here with my LED backgrounds. And if we really want to do some Rich action, I can do purple. Hey, Chris Mulvaney, what's up, my man? Excited to get rocking and rolling with you, dude, on our new website project together. Hey, Paul, how's Ohio, man? Got Jason from Tampa. Very cool. All right, man. So this is working. We got some viewers. Rich and I had a debate. Like last time I did a live stream, there was there was like 20, 30 viewers. And I was like, Rich, you always seem to get like 50 or 60 viewers on at a time. And I was like, is it the topic? Is it because I'm reviewing copy? Maybe people aren't interested about copy. And I was like, man, it's probably just because it's you. Like, you do any live stream, everyone's going to want to tune in. Just me. People are like, I'll pass on that for the night. Giancarlo, thank you for sharing, man. Really appreciate that. And I think, you know what? I think my theory is holding true. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get those rich numbers up here, but that's a shame because those folks are missing out. I got some action-packed, value-stuffed content for you, kind of sharing on the inside what a day in the life looks like for me, working behind the scenes with Rich, managing the day-to-day operations at Strategic Profits, what we do, day in, day out, not just Monday through Friday, but Sunday through Sunday. So I got some awesome content I want to share with y'all. Miyuki, nice to meet you, man. Awesome. We're getting some Tom Beal. Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate the love, brother. So we'll do intermittent Q&A here. So I got 4 different topics I want to cover tonight. So, hey, Jesse, what's up, man? So let's see here. We're going to talk about kind of what my routine looks like. I always love these emails. Like, I'm on a million different lists for like different copywriters and gurus and publishers and stuff like that. And I always love to hear like what people's routine is. It's just the voyeuristic nature of people, I guess. They want to know like they think there's like some secret magic sauce to their schedule. Like, wake up at 5 a.m. and take their bulletproof coffee and get rocking and rolling, right? So I'm gonna shed some light on like what my routine looks like. I don't think it's the best in the world. It's kind of worked for me, and I've spent a long time trying to dial it in to figure out how I perform my best. And it's quite a bit different than what you might hear from a lot of the mainstream folks when they're writing the books like the Morning Miracle or Miracle Morning and stuff like that. I've read it all and I've tried different things, but I'll be sharing what's worked for me. And I highly encourage you to just experiment with your own schedule. Next up to that, we're going to talk about like the managing of a small team. So our business, Strategic Profits, we're tiny, man. Rich went into semi-retirement circa 2016, 2017 and kind of just shut down the business. And then we really haven't started trying to grow it since 2020. And then we were part of a much larger business. We ended up breaking outside of that business and kind of starting from scratch to ground level and having to build up a team from nothing. At first, it was just really me and Rich, and slowly bringing on people part-time, then full-time, and kind of growing up that staff. And now that, our growth top line revenue has just been, growing exponentially. And frankly, at with a business of our size, if you're not growing exponentially, you're doing something wrong. So I'm going to tell you about how I kind of manage the team and the processes and systems we put in place to keep organized. As I wrote in my email, like, I'm not organized by nature. I'm a copywriter at heart, and I've seen Joe Schriefer. He's one of my mentors, and he used to do like studies on copywriters because he's worked with so many of them, and found that copywriters, like the greatest copywriters, are super competitive, but they're terribly unorganized. So I've had to like overcome that challenge in my own life and career, and just create these processes and systems that help me like manage all these floating, juggling balls in the air, keeping track of many projects all at once, and knowing exactly what's happening in the business all at the same time. And Boso, man, appreciate you're digging my setup. I've been putting some work into it, man. My wife had a DSLR camera too, just kind of laying around the house, and I was able to hack that and turn that into a webcam too. So I'm glad it's working out. All right, so we'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk about the core tenets of our company culture, and like how I identify A players. The thing about culture is it's never too early to start thinking about your company culture. No matter how small you are, and as you grow and scale, maintaining that company culture becomes harder and harder and harder. So I'll talk about the tenets that are really important to me when I'm looking at potential hires and who I want to be part of the team. When you're small, those early hires are so critical. You're not everyone on the team is going to have a huge impact on your business. So making the right choice on who you bring into your team, how you onboard them, the expectations you set, and just the environment and how you operate as a team, and like what your beliefs are, what's important to you, what you prioritize in terms of actions and results, and how you handle roadblocks when they happen and problems when they come up, right? So all that stuff, if you set a good company culture, people, it doesn't mean just like it's all sunshine and rainbows and like everyone's super positive and things like that, right? But you have to have a company culture that allows you to talk about really difficult conversations without anyone's feelings really getting hurt, but also in a way that you're able to address problems and overcome them productively, right? Mike Brando wants to know, hey, Matt, what exactly do you do and what title do you go by? Yeah, man, as I said in my email, like that is one of the hardest questions, because I just wear so many hats, and depending on what I'm doing in the business at the time, like the title changes. Like I said, man, sometimes it's publisher if I'm making content and creating Steal Our Winners issues, or working on the curriculum for our coaching program. Sometimes it's copy chief when I'm working with our copywriter, I'm giving them feedback, or I'm writing emails or sales letters and things like that. Sometimes it's director of operations when I'm running our morning stand-ups and attending all our meetings with potential affiliate partners, or brokering joint venture agreements. Playing a lot of the strategy for the overall business. And then sometimes it's doing the grunt work, like putting on my customer service hat. And if you're a customer, chances are you've probably heard from me. If you had an issue, that stuff goes into customer service. I read almost every single ticket we get. So I keep my eye on all that stuff. A lot of problems in the business end up manifesting in customer service early on. And so if I see patterns, like we're having some issue creep up over and over and over again, like I need to be aware of that ASAP, so we can figure out what the issue is. Is this just a one-time issue? Is this a user error, or is this something on our part? Could we make our copy clearer? Could we restructure our offer better so that there's less confusion? Is there a technical glitch going on, and I need to get in touch with our developer to make sure that's fixed ASAP? So really, it depends on what's going on. The title I just kind of tell people in the emails is just like managing partner, right? Because me and Rich, we're partners, and I run the day-to-day operations of the business. And depending on what's going on in that business at the time, I'll be wearing a different hat. And really, when you're a small business, titles kill, man. You can't have titles. Again, I'll go back to Joe Schriefer. He just hates titles. My mentors and the people who've made the biggest impact on my life and my career, they don't have titles. They do whatever it takes to get the job done. And honestly, if you're working with employees and they're constantly concerned about what their titles are and what their job description is and what's their role and what's not their role and whose job that is, like that suffocates growth. And those are not the type of people you want on your team, especially when you're as small as we are. So, and then lastly, so that was three topics so far. The last topic I want to cover is like the hardest people to hire, like the two roles in my business that are really hard to hire right now. It's hard to find good people for these two roles. It takes a long time to onboard and train them. And like, if I can find good people in these two roles, like I'll do whatever it takes to keep them. And I'm willing to invest a lot of time in that stuff. Mike wants to know, so you, look at that. I'm a tech whiz. So you split 50-50 with Rich? No, we're not 50-50 partners, man. Rich has built this biz like it is. Rich is the face, right? So we're not 50-50 partners, but I'm a partner in the business, and like I invested in this company. Strategic Profits, like me and him, like it's almost like a couple. I'm an item. So. And any deals that come my way or people who want to consult or whatever, like anything, like I always try to build that into Strategic Profits, right? Like I don't want people working with me. I want them working with Strategic Profits. And Rich and I are tight and on the same page. I have total trust in him and he has total trust in me. And like one of the comments he made to me as he was getting ready to go to San Diego this week was like, we have one thing we do in our Slack channel every morning. And I still need to do that today. Is that everyone on the team, we post what we're grateful for. So we post we post something in our personal life that we're grateful for. We post something in the business that we're grateful for, and we post like a personal attribute that we're grateful for. And what that means is like, for me, one of my personal attributes yesterday was like, I had a 47 beats per minute for my average heart rate for February. So, right, so that's like a personal attribute. I'm very grateful that I'm in good health. But like one of the things that Rich said this week that he was grateful for in the business was that he could go to California for the next 2 weeks and not have a single worry about the business, right? So that's the kind of trust that we have in each other, and really you need someone in the business like that, especially if you're a personal brand and a guru-based business and you're trying to grow it and scale it, so it's more than just a solopreneur kind of thing. Like you need to have an operator in your business who you have full faith in to manage the day-to-day, and that things aren't going to slip through the cracks, and that they're going to make decisions that are in the best interest of not themselves, but the company, right? Hey, Lisa from Miami Beach, how's it going? Appreciate y'all dropping the comments in there saying hello. Like I said, this is not something I do normally. I'm actually a total introvert by nature. And like I've been like stressing all day about this live stream. My heart's racing right now. So I really appreciate the great comments, y'all. I appreciate the shares if you want to share this with your audience too. And just love the comments coming in right now. So Ralph's got a question about media buyers and things like that. Adskills train. He wants to know if like what kind of credentials we look for. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Like for right now, for example, like we don't hire in-house media buyers. We're working with an agency. So that's not a bridge I've crossed yet per se. Right now, like I love, this is a total cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Like hire slow and fire fast, right? And so when you're a really small business, sometimes you just have to make a smart decision. Like is the role you're trying to hire, is it easy? Like what would it require to bring that person on in a salary or whatever comp structure you're having with the person, or is it just easier to work with a vendor and kind of outsource that role? And so for us right now, like working with a vendor who we really trust is critical, and they do a great job, and they're one of the best in the business. And so it's easy for us to just like write that retainer, and we're happy to give them some upside on performance, and that just fits better with our business instead of hiring an in-house media buyer. Hey, Zeal. Zeal. I hope I'm saying that right. Samuel. Hello, Rich. Rich ain't here, man. Just me tonight. All right, y'all. So let's dive into the first topic. We'll talk about the routine. So as I was alluding to earlier, everyone wants to know about what's the secret sauce to the routine. what time should you wake up? When do you get your writing done? Especially as a copywriters eat that stuff up. But for me, like, I've tried the morning thing. I've tried to wake up at 5 a.m. I've tried to wake up at 6. Like, it's just not in the cards for me, and like, I try to be really productive, but for me, I'm not even that productive in like first thing in the morning. I wake up slowly. Like, so I'll typically set my alarm for 7:15. And most of the time I'll wake up a little bit before it goes off. Like, I'll wake up at like 7 on my own. And it's very nice. It's relaxing. I don't feel stressed, and I'm just like having to throw myself out of bed. Like, when it's cold and stuff, like, I dread just getting out of the bed, and I like to wake up slowly. And as a business owner, like, you kind of get to have that freedom to structure the work schedule around what works for you. And I've just found, like, waking up at 5 a.m. doesn't do me any good. It's just more time that I'm awake and I'm not actually getting stuff done. So there's no advantage at it for me. Like, again, you have to listen to your body. I've seen research like only 15% of the population is really morning people. I'm not one of them, right? So I'll wake up at 5:15, and I'll take you step by step. Like, I wake up at 5:15. My wife loves to sleep in too, and she's like, she'll get pissed if I start making noise before 7:30. But the moment 7:30 rolls around, I got a Google smart speaker right next to me. I'm like, hey, Google, good morning. And it'll do like this automation. It'll tell us the weather. It'll tell us, the weather, and then it'll automatically play NPR, and we'll get the morning news. And so listen to that for like 15 minutes, and then I'll just switch it over to sports talk radio, big sports fan. And I'll just kind of get up, I'll get dressed or take a shower, start moving around. And again, it's very slow. Like, I have very slow mornings. And again, most people will look at that and be like, oh, you're wasting your day and all this stuff. It's like, but I know my body, I know my habits and what I'll tend to do. And Rich and I are both big believers, like, double down on your strengths and work around your weaknesses. And so for me, mornings are my weakness. And so I don't fight it. I embrace it. And I'll enjoy my mornings and wake up slowly and do the little things that I just like to do that I don't normally have time to do throughout the rest of the day, right? Like catch up on what's happening with the Washington football team or my Washington Capitals. Like, I'm all DC sports. So I'll do that kind of stuff because I don't have time for that during the rest of the day, right? I'll make my coffee, and then my wife and I will take our dog for a walk around the park. And it's very nice. It's time for us to just spend one-on-one. We'll go on like a 15-minute walk with our dog, get home, drink my coffee. And then by that time, it's about 9 o'clock. All right. And so from 9 to 10, that's kind of when I get caught up on things that are happening in the business that I missed overnight. Right. So I'll check my email. I'll check Slack, make sure that there's no fires that I need to be putting out in the business, make sure there's no technical glitches or a deluge of CS tickets that came in overnight. I'll complain about a single issue or anything like that. Excuse me. So really, from 9 to 10, checking email, just to get caught up on anything that I'm unaware of in the business. The other thing that I'll also do, which is really important, is I'll check our stats from the previous 24 hours, right? So I check our stats every single day, like clockwork. I'll go into Infusionsoft. I'll see how many leads we've brought in over the past 24 hours. I'll see how much revenue we've brought in over the past 24 hours. I'll look at like refunds and chargebacks and things like that. So always want to be on top of our business stats and making sure that, some days are slow. Some days we're not bringing in as much revenue as other days, but I'm also looking at like our calendar and our schedule, and are we trending up? Are we hitting our month over month goals? Do we have a full calendar full of promotional opportunities where even if we have a slow opportunity today, I'm confident because we got a packed week next week coming up, or, right now, affiliate offers just crushing it for us and converting like game busters. And then that's going to go, straight to the bottom line for us. So 9 o'clock is really just checking emails, checking Slack, putting out fires, and checking stats. All right. And then by 10 o'clock is really when the real work starts for me. Like 10 o'clock is probably the most important time of the day for me because that's when our team has our morning stand-up. Okay. So what we do during morning stand-up, we operate from a Scrum framework, which I'll discuss a little bit more later when I'm talking about our team management and how we operate very productively, and it helps me stay on top of what everyone is doing. But the morning stand up for me, which typically it can range if we're really fast and no one's got any issues and we're cranking, we can get done with the morning stand up in 20 minutes. But more often than not, it probably goes about half an hour, sometimes 40, 45 minutes. But generally, I try to keep it pretty limited. I don't want to spend too much of people's time during the day, during that morning stand-up just meeting. But I find that it's really, really critical to have those morning stand-ups with everyone on the team who's really an active contributor in the business. Like as you scale and as you get a lot more employees, you can't have everyone during that time. Really just the people who should be there are the people who have updates and you need to move projects forward. But I find that having the morning stand-up with the team, well, first thing we always do during stand-up is like, I'm kind of punny. And so since it's a stand-up, I start by telling a joke, and I use my Google Home speaker, and it always tells a really corny joke to get it started. And it's small, but it just sets the mood. And obviously, like, we take our work very seriously, but I still want to, lighten up everyone's day. And at the end of the day, like, world's not going to end. If like nothing is too serious that we can't like end up making a joke, right? But it's just fun. And so having that morning stand up, we get to get FaceTime with everyone because we're a completely remote business, right? And so like most of y'all, if you're not in an office every day, if you're not seeing people face to face, that FaceTime is critical just to bond and get to know each other. And the more distance you have with your employees and your teammates, it just becomes easy to treat them as like not human, and just be cold or heartless over Slack and email and stuff like that can be, it's hard to get that bond and maintain that familiarity if you're not having FaceTime. And so I find that having the morning stand up, keeps everyone connected and feeling good and positive as a team. And we're able to review a lot of the things that happened over the day, whether it's like, going through stats and assigning new projects for folks. And so morning stand up for me during that 10 to 10:45 block is absolutely critical. It's probably the most important part of my day. And we do that Monday through Friday. All right. So after morning stand up, that's probably my most productive time. That's when I'm like getting stuff done. I'm really putting my head down. Sometimes I'll have some meetings scheduled during that time. I try not to try to push them later in the day. But I mean, with my role in the business, meetings got to happen, and I got to be super flexible. And like Rich's schedule is always packed with different calls for like steal our winners or calls with potential JV partners or trying to strike other business deals with other people in the industry. So like I strive to have Rich, basically, there's only two things I want Rich doing, and both of them involve him just being on Zoom or FaceTime or the phone all day long, right? I just want him interviewing people and creating content, doing these live streams, and on the phone chatting with all the people in our business who are really important and who we need to do deals with in order to grow our business. And so that's where he adds the most leverage and value to the business is by being that face and having those relationships, because a single Zoom call with Rich in 30 minutes can lead to a deal that potentially increases our top line 20 to 30%, right? And that can happen just from a random conversation with someone who wants to have him on their podcast or something like that. So like those opportunities are always uncertain. We never know for sure, like where that next opportunity is going to arise. But by taking those constant shots on goal and like having Rich just on the phone with people all the time, there's like a constant flow of new ideas and opportunities in the business. And so that's what I try to get him to do. And then I act as like trying to take all the busy work and making sure that there's no distractions preventing him from doing those things, right? So yeah, about 11 to 2, most productive time. I try to get some copy written if I can. Frankly, often my copy gets pushed to the end of the day, just because I'm on call. Like, I need to be in meetings. I need to be getting FaceTime with employees, giving them feedback, moving projects forward. And then the deep work tends to get pushed to later in the day when things start quieting down and there's not that constant ping of new emails, new Slack messages, and stuff like that. And again, like a lot of really good writers will say that's completely wrong and I shouldn't do that. But you know what? I've tried it the other way and I just can never do that consistently. And I found that I can consistently like take a slower morning, get the work that I know is urgent and stuff done, and then have some time afterwards where when things quiet down, I can still have focus and get more of my deep work done, right? So 11 to 2 is a lot of just meetings and knocking out the tasks that we discussed during the morning stand-up. And then by then, I'm kind of feeling tired. Like three or four rolls around. By then, like 2:33 around then, like I started feeling tired mentally, not necessarily physically, more mentally tired. I'm a little bit drained because I've been taking a lot of calls. I've been answering a lot of emails. I've been talking to a lot of people. And so I need a break. And so 3 to 5 is like probably my favorite time of the day. It's when I work out. So like I'm just Tuesday and Thursdays are my workout days. And then Monday, my strength training days. And then like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go into a shared office space with some other buddies that we all share a spot. And I kind of squat there, and one of my friends brought in a Peloton. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I might hit the Peloton around 3, and then grab lunch. Or if I'm working from home, I'll go down to my home gym, doing a strength training routine for about an hour. Come upstairs, eat a protein shake. But like that, that time to just reset for the day. Like I've been working from, at that point from 10 to 3. So, I mean, it's not a ton of time. It's probably about, 5 hours of solid work, which, really, if you're looking at all the research, your body isn't meant to keep going nonstop for 8 hours. So I need that reset personally. And it's super helpful if I work out, because it gets my blood pumping, reduces a lot of the stress. I just feel great after I work out. Like I always dread it. Like it's never, I'm doing it for a long time, but it never gets easier. You're never going to be like, oh man, I'm just so excited to work out today. But I swear every time I get in the gym and I have my routine, I hit it hard. And then when I'm done, I eat my protein shake and I just feel like amazing afterwards. I'm riding high. And then from there, it's easier to jump back into work. So after that reset from like 3 to 5, I'll get a little bit more work done from like 5 to 7. Most of the time, like writing copy during that time. And I'm kind of fortunate. My wife works for an Australian company. So she's got a bunch of Aussies in Melbourne who she's taking calls with pretty late. So that allows me, like, I don't have to turn off the computer right at 5. She's usually still working kind of late. And so that allows me to get some more copy done. And then we usually have lunch or dinner around 6:30, 7 o'clock. We'll make dinner together. We'll watch some Netflix, kind of start winding down for the day. We've been binge watching Lost recently. We never watched it when it first came out, but my friend, he loves it so much. He has a freaking Lost tattoo on his arm. He hasn't even shown it to us yet because he doesn't want to, give us any spoilers. So we've been watching Lost, do some Netflix, some vegging out. Again, most people are like, no, you can't, don't watch any TV, but how realistic is that, right? I'm not an automaton. That's the right word. I'm not an automaton. I'm not a robot, right? I need some time to like just clear my mind. And that's usually right first thing in the morning for me, just to wake up slowly. And then at the end of the day, watch a little Netflix we'll probably watch like 2 episodes. So like 2 hours just watching Lost together. And then I take out my dog for his final walk of the night, and we'll drink some sleepy time tea, which is kind of our nice little drink during the weekday to help us kind of wind down and go to bed. And it's a nice routine, the sleepy time tea. So that's kind of it. And usually I'm in bed, like it's not super early. Usually we're lying down and going to bed between 10:30 to 11:30. So it's not always the same time. Sometimes I'm like, oh, can we do one more episode of Lost? It goes a little bit later, but not, now we're not super rigid about it. And as long as I'm, kind of crashing around that time, it's still pretty easy. It's very easy for me to wake up at 7 and still get my 8 hours of sleep. Right. So that's kind of the day in a nutshell. Right. Like I said, it's not your typical routine for a lot of entrepreneurs or copywriters and things like that. But just after a lot of experimentation, I just found it's what works for me. It's my body likes it, and I've been very productive doing it. Right. And so that's my biggest takeaway for y'all is like experiment, test, see what your body likes. And as an entrepreneur, take advantage of the fact that you get to set the schedule. You get to design your workday around what works best for you. And that's what I've been able to do at Strategic Profits. Christopher, I'm loving all your comments, man. Really appreciate it. Yuzu drinks the sleepy time tea too. I love it. It's so good. I get the sleepy time tea extra with the valerian root. It's delicious, and it's just like I take a few sips of that. It's nice and warm, and I'm just like it triggers to my body that it's bedtime. Chris, you've got the friendly gamer vibe going in the background, Matt. Appreciate the Puppet Master routine. Yeah, man, for sure. I'm not quite I've been trying to get back into video games recently, and like on the weekends I might play a little bit of video games, but anytime I play a video game, I play for like 30 minutes, an hour. I'm just like, I'm bored. I used to do it way too much, and I think I burnt myself out. You know how like people talk about drinking too much tequila or something and they can never drink it again? I feel the same way about video games. Like I played too many video games as a kid, and now like anytime I play video games, I'm just like, yeah, it's cool for 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I've done this before. It's boring. Let's do something more exciting. So yeah. So Eva wants to know, do you have a 6-hour workday? So I would say it's about 7 hours. So from 10 to 3. So that's my 5-hour kind of big block. And then after dinner, I'll probably work for about 2 more hours. So yeah, 6 or 7 hours. And that's not including like the time from 9 to 10 when I'm checking emails and reviewing stats and things like that before my initial stand up. So yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, it probably totals 7 or 8. Sometimes it might be a little bit lower, sometimes a little bit more. But just during those hours I am working, I try to be really, really productive and not just distracted by Facebook or social media or the news and stuff like that. Like the time I work very intensely. And then when I'm not working, like I want to be doing other things and not be distracted by work. Right. So I really try to create these really concrete blocks. Like, am I in work mode right now? Or am I in relaxation mode or exercise mode or whatever it is? And really keep those time blocks siloed. So I think that's helped me. It's not always easy to do that. Especially like, I think that's why it's hard for me. Like when I'm laying in bed in the morning, I can't help not think about work. My mind is just racing. I have so many ideas. Same thing when I'm going to bed at night sometimes. Like I'll just be laying in bed and all I can do is think, right? Oh no, Rich is watching. He's like 7 or 8. I thought you were going to, yeah. Surprise you, man. See, that's how it happens. Like if you work smart, it seems like you're working all the time, but really you're just working smarter, not harder, which is what we teach people at Strategic Profits. Shameless shit sales pitch right there. Watch out for the coaching program coming out soon. All right. So who is the so-called puppet master? That's me, Giancarlo. If you read my email, yeah, Rich gave me, and it's very flattering. I appreciate it. I will take that. That's going to be on my gravestone. Matt Risby, puppet master. Chris wants to know how expensive was my lighting. It was actually super cheap, dude. It was like $25 for a lighting kit, and it's basically these strips of lighting that are just LEDs, and you can actually cut them. And there's like little connectors you can do so you can go around right corners. And so I basically just put lighting strips on the back of my bookshelf, right? So I just kind of like put them in little rows up and down there. And then I got just plugged in there and I got the remote. So super easy, highly recommend it. and then you get to look like Rich. Yeah, Rich is in Cali already. He flew out Wednesday right after our coaching call. He actually took the Q&A call that we did from the airport. $25 per strip. Yeah, the strips are pretty long. I think I got like 26 foot, something like that. Just go on Amazon. They're really cheap. You can just get them. Yeah, they're not bad at all. Appreciate it, man. All right. So before we go on to the next segment, does anybody have any questions about scheduling or anything that I covered about the schedule before I move on to the next topic about managing the day-to-day and what that looks like? I will give you 10 seconds to write a question. It's like Jeopardy. I'm actually a huge Jeopardy fan. I used to watch it all the time. R.I.P. Alex Trebek. I actually crush on Jeopardy. You should see me. Always get double Jeopardy right. All right. I don't see any questions coming in. If they do pop in, don't worry. I'll pause and we can jump back to that topic if one pops in your mind. But let's move on to, let's see here. It's 6:03. Wow, we've already gone through like 36 minutes. Look at that. I was so nervous, and time just flies when you're under extreme stress, doesn't it? So how I manage a small team, stay on top of our projects. Are you doing any promotional materials for affiliates of Steal Our Winners? So yeah, we have Damon. If you are a Steal Our Winners customer, you probably got an email from us like last week or the week before, letting people know that we are taking on affiliates. So if you are interested in being an affiliate for Steal Our Winners, send an email to Michelle at strategicprofits.com. That's our affiliate manager. She will get you set up with an affiliate account, and she will get you any assets you need to promote Steal Our Winners. We have 2 awesome campaigns right now that are just doing very, very solid, and our affiliates are very happy with the results so far. We have the CSIB docu-series, which is the live stream, the 24-hour live stream Rich did last year. We chopped that up and turned it into 27 episodes of content. And when people opt into the series, they can get the first 10 episodes for free, and that's been converting very well. We also have our $1 trial offer, which is much more direct and straightforward, but it's just a great offer-driven piece of copy and promotional material. So, and we also have swipe emails for both those campaigns if you're interested. So yeah, reach out to Michelle if you, oh, perfect. Already did it. Sounds good, man. What's the one thing that you always make sure to stay away from so that you can stay productive during your work time? That is a great question. I would say social media. I would say the news. I would say like during the week, I don't drink during the week. Little things like that. Like it's easy from working from home to fall into bad habits, whether it's like if you're working from home and it's only you and you're not in an office and no one's looking over your shoulder, make sure you're doing your work. It can be very easy to fall down the rabbit hole of distractions and bad habits, and whether that's pornography or video games or whatever, right? So I just keep myself, for me, what's helpful is to stay really, really busy. Like if I can keep my calendar packed with stuff I gotta do that's constantly urgent, then like that's going to be a constant fire for me that I don't even have time to get distracted, right? Like I feel like sometimes if you just have like one big project where it's like, it's especially hard if you're doing deep work, where it's like the only thing you have to do is write this 30-page sales letter, right? And that's the only thing you're supposed to do the day. Unless you got like a hardcore deadline, it can be really hard to just sit down, focus on that for, the whole day and not get any distraction out. So that is a big thing. Also, I just find that prioritizing the breaks and giving myself the time to do those distractions that I want to do and just like block out that time. Like I said, so from in the morning time when I'm waking up slowly, Yeah, I go on I go on Google and I search Washington football team because I'm a freaking fanatic, and I love like I need every update on the team the moment it comes out. But I do that during the mornings, right? So I'll Google search Washington football team and check out any updates that's going on with that, right? I listen to my news during the morning during that time, right? And so I have that block where I know that this is the time that's okay to get those distractions, get it out of my system. And then, during that 5-hour block where I'm really, really working hard, I try to shove that and stuff it with as much important, urgent work as possible. So I'm constantly on to the next thing. I don't even have a time to take a break. And then when 3 o'clock's work rolls around and I'm just mentally exhausted, then I'm able to okay, I need to do my workout. I have a reset. I have my protein shake. It's just and then I'm refreshed and ready to get rolling again, right? And the time after that isn't as productive as that 5-hour block earlier in the day, but I'm still able to get stuff done, right? So that's how I kind of handle that. Yeah, man. Working from home, especially if you're alone, it's also helpful to have my wife in the house, right? She's working too, and we kind of keep an eye on each other. Are you getting your work done? Are you getting your work done? So that's helpful. Also, going into a shared office space, if it's too hard for you to get work done from home, go somewhere else. Get out of the house. Change your environment. When I was living in San Francisco and I was just a freelance copywriter, sometimes and my wife wasn't at home, right? This was pre-COVID. She was going into the office every day. I was just working from home, living that freelancer dream of setting my own hours and working from anywhere. It's a gift and a curse, my friend, because if you can't manage that time well, then your productivity is going to suffer. Your income is going to suffer. So sometimes I just had to get out of the house, and that meant going to a coffee shop. I would go to these meetups called Shut Up and Write, where everyone would just sit at a table and put a timer on for an hour and a half, write for an hour and a half straight, take a 15-minute break, and then get back at it and write for another hour and a half. So kind of having that peer pressure around you to make sure that you're getting your work done and not on Facebook or getting distracted and whatnot was really, really helpful. But yeah, if working from home is tough, then sometimes you just got to change your environment, go to someplace else, or get an accountability buddy to work with you. So you both can see yeah, we're getting stuff done. Yeah, to be honest, Chris, I don't see my wife much either. Usually she's in this office, not me, and I'm just kind of working downstairs. And we might see each other for lunch. We don't even have lunch together. She'll have lunch, and I'll go get lunch, and then we really don't talk to each other from between our morning walk together until dinner. So it's even though we're both working from home and we don't have a massive house or anything, we don't really see each other during the day. Yeah, Bosa, for sure. Coffee shops definitely help. All right. I don't want to harp on schedule. I want to get into the team management because I think this part is absolutely critical. I found it so helpful. Like I said, when 10 p.m.s, right? That's our 10 a.m. stand up. Excuse me, not 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Our 10 a.m. stand up is the most important part of the day for me. And because it allows me to link up with the team, sync, see what everyone else is doing, see where the roadblocks are, set our game plan for the day, and review the progress we've made, right? So as I mentioned earlier, our team follows a Scrum framework. So if you read the book if you read Scrum, that's the title of the book, Scrum. It's by Jeff Sutherland, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite business books. I actually got our first affiliate, when we brought on our first copywriter and affiliate manager, and we started doing it, I had them read the book so we can all be on the same page. Pun kind of intended, right? It's a book. We're on the same page. But being on the same page about how the process, because I had been at a company before who implemented Scrum, and I didn't get it. I didn't see the value in it. So I wasn't bought in. And really, you have to have make sure that everyone on the team is bought into the process, because when you are and you're operating those meetings effectively, they can be super productive. They allow everyone on the team to know what's going on in the business. So you get this radical transparency about, the projects and where things stand and people's performance and progress. So there's nothing hiding under the covers or the bed or in the closet, like when it comes to the negative things that are going on in the business, right? Everyone knows what's happening. And I think that's just so important as a business, especially when you're small. Like, everyone needs to know what's going on. So the way we operate Scrum is starts at 10 a.m. Like I mentioned earlier, I get Google to tell a quick joke. Then our affiliate manager quickly reviews stats for the day from our partners. How are the affiliate campaigns going internally? The ones that, if we're promoting someone else's offer, how is that going? What are sales looking like? Clicks, sales, conversions, gross revenue, and then commissions that we're netting. And then we'll also review how are the affiliate promos going externally. So people promoting our offers. So we usually every month we try to do a mini launch at the end of the month for the next issue of Steal Our Winners. And what we'll do is we'll reach out to every contributor who's going to be in the new issue of Steal Our Winners. Ask them if they're interested in becoming an affiliate. Get them set up with great. We even write custom swipe copy for them based on their interview that they shared, and let teases, the big strategy or tactic that they revealed in their interview. And we try to get a lot of people scheduled at the end of every month for these little mini launches to promote Steal Our Winners to their list, right? So, and we have evergreen offers too, as I mentioned with CSIB. So we have affiliates running that at different times, and we'll, we start kind of the morning stand-up by reviewing stats, both our own internal stats that we've made, as well as affiliate stats, affiliate campaigns we're running to our own list, and affiliate campaigns that other affiliates are promoting our product to their list. So quick run through of stats with the affiliate manager is step one. From there, we go around the table, the virtual table, and each person starts off by saying what they got done yesterday, what they're going to get done today, and if there's any roadblocks in their way preventing them from getting that stuff done that they need to get done today. Or if they were supposed to get something done yesterday and weren't able to do it, what is the reason they weren't able to do it? And how do we prevent that from happening again today? Often that means, maybe our affiliate manager was supposed to get something scheduled and on the books, but we need to confirm with Rich about a time that he can do an interview or something like that. So Rich is on the call. Let's ask Rich. Rich, does this work for you? Perfect. We get the answer. We can move forward, right? So it's a process of continually reviewing what you've gotten done, then planning, okay, we've gotten these things done. What do we need to get done today? And then this is the time when people can voice their concerns, their fears, their struggles. What do they need help with? People on the team will give suggestions to you, where you're struggling or a better way of approaching it. If we're having trouble getting to contact someone, maybe I need to reach out in a text or whatever. If we're often they're scheduling issues or just questions that anyone on the team has about executing their job, right? And I like to batch these kind of things in the stand-up because one of the biggest distractions during the day is just the constant ping of Slack, right? We all have email and Slack, and that's probably the number one source of distraction during the day. It's a necessary evil, but the less we can have that, and the more we can just save those things till the stand-up, the more efficient we can be and allowing each other to be our most productive selves during the workday. And then if we have problems or we have questions for one another, we kind of write a list and save those things till the stand-up and then bring them up, address them. And most of the time I like to get them fixed and solved on the call. So if my copywriter needs me to look at an email real quick, or if the affiliate manager is like, hey, I want to send out a message to these partners, but I'm not sure the exact wording, or if for example, if she needs to like pull stats and she doesn't, for example, this morning, this is the same thing happened, right? So we were reporting stats back to an affiliate and she was having trouble finding the exact stats she wanted to share. So I was like, all right, so we had a morning stand-up. This was an issue preventing her from doing her job. And so like immediately after the morning stand-up, usually I'll just extend the stand-up. I'll kick everyone else out in the call. I'm like, all right, let's just knock it out right now. Because what I don't want to do is if something can be handled in like 5 minutes or less, I'm not going to, I don't want to write that on my to-do list, handle it later. Cause the context switching, going from one idea to another idea, back to that idea again. It's a waste of time, right? If I'm thinking about it right now, let's handle it right now. And so typically if a roadblock or a bottleneck comes up during the morning stand-up, I try to get that answered right there on the call, or wait till after the call, speak to that person individually, and then help them work through it, right? So in that way, I'll use a sports metaphor. I'm kind of like the quarterback, right? So every morning we go into the huddle, we talk about our game plan. What is our strategy? What's our plan to get these things done? And then if someone's getting blocked or they need an assist, I'll step in, I'll help them out, whatever that means, right? And just to make sure that these issues are getting addressed fast and that there's nothing preventing us from moving forward that day, right? Because that's what really slows businesses down. Like a lack of communication, quick communication, just that fast feedback loop to be able to identify problems, within 24 hours and get them resolved with, as soon as they crop up. If you're able to do that, then your business moves so much quicker. It's unbelievable. But like the difference for us in our productivity as a team before and after implementing these morning stand-ups is just, it's night and day. I would never run a team without having these morning stand-ups again, because it's just that critical to our strategy and our planning. And it's not just day-to-day stuff, right? So usually on a Monday, right, Mondays we'll set goals for the week. So we'll figure out, okay, what can we get done? And there's lots of terminology for this, like a sprint. So we have a week-long sprint. We talk about on Monday, what do we want to get done by Friday? And then let's chunk that down over the next 5 days. All right. So if we have this ultimate goal to launch a promotion by Friday or have this product launched by Friday, what are the things that need to get done to make that happen? And then how can we break that up day by day to make sure we execute on time, right? So we really start Monday with looking at the week. What is our sprint? What is the goal for the sprint going to be over the next week? And then we break it down each day. Okay, step one, Monday, we need to do this. And if that doesn't get done, why didn't it get done? And let's make sure that happens. And then adjust as we're going through each day and communicating with each other when things are slowing down. So it's not just like we set the goal on Monday and then Friday comes along. It's like, oh, that didn't get done. Why not? And it's a problem that we could have foreseen on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, right? So having that openness and that communication, I highly recommend it. It's been one of the most valuable processes that we have in our business. And it's something that we plan on teaching other entrepreneurs and helping them deploy and actually kind of holding their hand through that process inside the coaching program we're relaunching. So Giancarlo wants to know, Matt, what time is the best to send emails and what day too, since your subscribers are all over the world? So I think that question is kind of like wanting like time for open rates, I would assume, right? Emails to subscribers, probably not emails to the team, I think you're asking. And really, I think people think about that way too much, dude. Like just pick a time and be consistent. Usually we send out our emails around 6. And if we're doing a live stream, I just send out the email 30 minutes before the live stream starts. Don't overthink it. When you're a small business, like trying to optimize for something like the time you send the emails, like that's such a small needle mover. Like I don't even get a bit of second thought. It's not that important. So just send emails, like make those emails good, work to improve those emails, work to improve your marketing campaigns and your headlines and leads and how those are converting, whether you send at 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 8 a.m., like, unless you're at big scale, that stuff is not going to be that important to you. I promise. And if you're thinking about that too much, like that's a distraction, and you shouldn't be. Okay. So trust me, don't worry about that kind of stuff too much. All right. So that's my like that. And that's really how I stay. So Scrum is how I stay plugged in on every single thing going on in the business, right? Because when you're managing the day-to-day operations, you have a lot of projects going on. And the only way you can stay on top of it is to be in constant communication with everyone on the team and having them report back to you. If you're having to constantly reach out to them and get updates, like, that's super inefficient. If I'm constantly thinking, if I, like, what's the status on this? And then I have to email that person, right? Oh, what's the status on this? And I email the person. And like different times throughout the day, constantly sending out questions on Slack or email to get updates. That's a total distraction for me. I'm going on different tangents and rabbit holes all the time. Like, I need to be focused on what I'm doing at hand at that type batch those types of questions from that 30 to 40 minute block during our stand-up. And then that allows me to know exactly what's happening with everything in the business without having to constantly be asking for updates. And Bosa has a question. So I wondered if you offered affiliate deals with all contributors to SOW. Thanks for sharing that. Do you give them the standard affiliate commission, or do they get a standard offer? Yeah, I mean, we're pretty fair with our affiliate commissions. Like, we just give everyone the same affiliate commissions, and they're very, very competitive. Like, our affiliate commissions are more than almost anyone I've seen in the business on a percentage basis. So like, we want affiliates to want to promote our offer. We think we have a great product. We have very satisfied customers who like leave great reviews and testimonials about Steeler winners. And for us, when it comes to affiliate commissions, I am thrilled to give away a huge chunk of that money to affiliates, because they've built the list, and like, basically it's free money for us, and it's free names. So like, when it comes to affiliate deals, when affiliates are promoting an offer, I don't view that as a way to monetize. Like, I'm not looking to make tons of money from affiliate deals. I'm looking to grow our list, right? I want to grow our list significantly through affiliate deals and get as many people to promote as possible, so we can get a really, really big list, and then have our backend products, which ultimately is our high ticket coaching program. And that's really where we have margin and what makes us the money. When it comes to steal our winners, and even like when people drop $300 on annual or $1,000 on lifetime, like, yeah, that's an investment, but I'm not like trying to make money on that sale. I'm just trying to get names, man. And the more of that money I can give back to affiliates to incentivize them to run our offer, like, I want to pay affiliates out big ass checks, so they want to drop our offer every chance they get, and then we can just grow that list, and then monetize it later on with our coaching. So that's really the ultimate strategy for us for affiliates. Like, we just want to reward our partners, make them super happy, give them a huge cut, and just have faith. Like, we know that with a big list and with the content we put out, that people will want to buy our higher ticket offers. And because we're not having to spend that money on advertising, on front end acquisition costs, all that other money later on goes straight to the bottom line. Sean McCool, man, what's up, dude? Awesome copywriter right there, and I appreciate the love, Sean. All y'all should follow Sean. He's a copy legend. So yeah, that's how I feel about affiliates, and why we pay out. Like, I think on CSIB, we like pay out 100% on the front end, and then like 75% on bump offers, and we pay out 50% on like lifetime sales, and we even pay 50% out on rebills for like $1 winners for the first year. So like, you can just continuously get new checks from all the renewals that people that the people you refer end up paying. So thanks, Chris. Appreciate you stopping in, man. You're trying to one up me on the copy game. Respect. I dig it. All right. So Sean's totally right, man. You pay to build a list with time or money or connections or something. Front end acquisition is just step one. For sure. For sure. Like Steal Our Winners, that is our front end acquisition product, right? The name of the game on that is like, the thing is, like, if we're making money on our front end product, we're doing it wrong, right? We're not maximizing our reach if we're making money on the front end product, and that's especially true if you're spending money on media, right? Like if I have a positive ROAS on our front end sales from Facebook ads, ROAS, return on ad spend. So if we're profitable on selling Steal Our Winners with Facebook ads, then we're not bidding high enough, right? Then it means that we can bring on more customers at a higher cost per acquisition and increase the number of folks we're bringing in. And I'm happy to eat up the margin there. Like I constantly want to be doing that balancing act, walking that line of trying to get to break even. If we're making money on the front end, it means we can be getting more people into our universe. And if we're losing money on the front end, obviously that's a problem. And we, at that point, we need to make sure that we have a back end marketing strategy to monetize that. And so we're not going negative and it's not crushing the bottom line. But ultimately, name of the game is break even at scale on the front end. If you can do that and then monetize on the back end, then you have a very, very profitable direct response business. All right. Next up. So before I jump on to the next topic here, we're going to cover company culture and like what I really look for in A players who we bring onto the team. And but before I jump into that, does anyone have questions about the management process, Scrum, how we operate our stand-ups, and the importance of that? All right, cool. I don't want too many people to drop off from my Jeopardy music. So next up, again, core tenets, company culture, how to attract A players. So I need to take a breath. Talking so long. All right. So I wrote down a couple things here when it comes to what I really like in a company and what I think is important to grow fast and improve. And the number one thing I wrote down first, and I just think it's so critical, is transparency and transparency throughout the entire business. Okay. I am one of those people who believe in radical transparency, and it's so important to me because it prevents drama, it prevents surprises, it prevents just you getting blindsided, right? All those things can kill a business. So if you don't have transparency throughout the entire business and embed transparency into your culture, right? You need to be, that's why we have Scrum, for example, right? So doing Scrum allows us to be very transparent on what everyone did yesterday and what they're getting done today, right? No matter where you are in the business, I don't like having siloed information based on if you're in the C-suite or if you're in customer service. Everyone should be able to access the same information. Okay. I want people knowing that, like, and there's one caveat to that. And the caveat to that is that when it comes to giving, critical feedback or, disciplining an employee when they're underperforming, I do believe in the mantra that you should praise in public and discipline in private. Okay. I'm not trying to publicly shame employees and beat them up, and it's not. That's not. But what I do want is that if I am talking about an employee and their underperformance, I want them to be there to hear it. I don't want things to be said behind people's backs about what they're doing wrong. If someone needs to be getting feedback, then they need to hear it. Okay. And so that means like no back talk, no back channeling. That is not healthy. Okay. And so like when it comes to, we talk about during morning stand-ups, like where are you struggling? And I don't give people feedback, but it's like, if it's really, if someone's not doing a good job, and they need to get called out on it, I don't like making that a public thing, and just shaming them. But because frankly, when it comes to underperformance, you can't hide that. Everyone on the team is aware. It becomes pretty obvious in the business who's carrying their weight, and especially when you're operating Scrum, effectively, it becomes very, very clear who's getting more done than others, and who's an A player and who's struggling. And that's, it's going to happen in your business eventually, right? So the more transparent you can be in your feedback, the earlier you can give people feedback. You just got to do it, and it's a difficult conversation to have. But you just got to make sure that people know it's not personal; it's just business, and everyone gets it, right? I'm not immune to feedback. Rich is not immune to feedback. Feedback goes both ways. I constantly ask our team for feedback on how I am as a manager. Okay. And I'm constantly giving them feedback on their job. And even the best players on the team get feedback regularly. Okay. If I see some copy that needs to, like, I might go in and rework it, but I'll record a quick Loom video and be like, you know what, Jack, this paragraph, we could have just cut this. We really didn't need to articulate this idea this way. I would have moved this around here, stuff like that. Or if I'm seeing my affiliate manager, if she's like sending tons of emails a day, but if I see she, just cold outreach to an affiliate, and I think she could have handled that better, or like, like, hey, I want you to lead more with value instead of kind of going straight for the ask. And we could have phrased this a little bit better to get that answer we're looking for, and to make it clear that, we care about the relationship. We want to be value first and things like that. Right. So there's never a point where anyone on the team shouldn't be getting feedback. It's a process of continuous improvement. And, we're big believers in practitioners of theory of constraints, and just constantly looking at where we're struggling and where we can be doing better. And, just constantly refining your craft and working at it every single day. And like I said, I love getting, like, I need it. If I'm not getting feedback, I feel like I'm my biggest critic. Like, so I'm constantly giving feedback to myself. But if people aren't giving me feedback, then I think you're lying to me. But I mean, and everyone on the team needs to get feedback. And it's really important that you have a culture where that's okay. Like, people shouldn't be upset when they get feedback. They should be able to take feedback well. When I was working at Agora and I first started as a junior copywriter, going into copy reviews was incredibly intimidating. And, you watch people's copy get ripped to shreds, and it can feel very personal, right? You spend weeks or, working on a headline or lead, and, or you come up with a big idea that you're really excited about, and your copy chief just takes a big poo on it. That never feels good. And Sean knows. He just says copy reviews at Agora are brutal. They're brutal. But trust me, you go through it enough, you're just like, you're ice cold. You can take. I have a surgery complication for my. I'm not actually crying right now. My eye waters too much, and I need to get fixed. So no, I'm not crying here because of the copy reviews at Agora. I just have an issue with my eye. But trust me, getting that experience of constantly getting feedback it hardens you to the feedback, and you become disconnected from your work in a positive way, where you don't you view. Yeah, Sean's saying PTSD from copy review. It was so funny. Like, when we'd have our in-house copy reviews, like at the time I was working at Stansberry Research, and a lot of outside copywriters would come in and submit copy for us to review, just because, like, Mike Palmer and the seniors on our team were really well known in the business, And they knew like, if these guys say it's good, it's good. And we would always kind of like, and I'm not going to name names, but we had some really big name A-list copywriters who would contract for us sometimes, and they would submit some copy review. And since they were just like, they weren't part of the in-house team, and they didn't, when you're a freelancer and you're not getting that feedback, it's easy to get fat and sloppy and like not. Oh, Austin Steer, another Agora copywriter, knows exactly what we're talking about here. But trust me, like when outside copywriters come in who are like freelancers and stuff, and they're not used to getting that kind of feedback on a regular basis, it's not like we're like getting revenge on them or something. They're like, oh, this is outsider, we need to just blow up their copy. But the difference in the quality of copy you would see from someone who's consistently getting their copy reviewed versus someone who almost never gets copy reviewed. Because like if you're a freelancer and you're just working with clients, most of the time they're not reviewing your copy. They're not copywriters. They're hiring you because they're not copywriters and they don't know what good copywriting is, and they just expect it to be great when they get it, right? Or they just don't know what the deal is, right? So trust me, I know I'm going long about feedback, but I honestly believe that feedback is one of the most important aspects of a business. And, you got to learn it the hard way, right? And you have to build a culture that is comfortable, not just taking feedback, but giving feedback regularly in a way that's healthy and productive, right? Feedback doesn't mean let's just beat up on this person, tell them their copy's crap, or tell them that their work is bad. It doesn't work that way, right? What you should be doing, and this was a rule of ours at Copy Review, you couldn't just say, I don't like this, or this is bad, or let's get rid of that. That's awful. Okay. Every piece of critique had to be tied with a suggestion to make it better. Okay. And I believe that should apply to all types of feedback. So anytime someone on our team is struggling or I'm not happy with their work, I don't just tell them that I'm not happy with their work. I give them specific things that I would do differently if I was in their shoes. I would, if I think an email should have been worded differently, I'd tell them how I would have worded the email, right? If we're having issues with scheduling or getting in contact with different partners who we want to work with, I will give them suggestions on how to do that and make it better. Okay. So there needs to be that constant feedback loop of not just letting people know they're doing a good job or a bad job, but also telling them a better way to do it. And as Sean's suggesting, Copy Logic, written by Mike Palmer and Michael Masterson, aka Mark Ford. Excellent book. Definitely read it if you're implementing copy review in your own business. Giancarlo is about to fucking have a hemorrhage if I don't answer his question here. I'm in Justin Goff's list and he's been emailing me for a month now, but never pitches or even put a link in something. How come that he's so successful by barely selling? Your thought on that, please. I will address this later because this is not relevant to what we're talking about, buddy. Sorry. I will cover that later. So hold on tight. All right. So feedback is one of that core pieces of transparency that you have to have in your business. Another thing is like financials. Okay. Everyone in the business, I believe, should know what the financials of the business look like. I do not believe that P&Ls should be reserved for directors and people in C-suite and executives, right? As a business, we should be very transparent. Are we making money? Are we losing money? Are we growing? Are we shrinking? People get very emotional about that stuff, and for good reason, right? It can be scary if things are starting to turn south, right? Because it means that something's going wrong and we got to figure it out and there's a problem, right? But if people don't know things are going wrong, then you're missing an opportunity for feedback and getting better, right? If things are going bad, that gives you the reason why things need to change, and it also gives people throughout the business opportunities to take ownership over it. It's not just the business owner's job to be thinking about how can we be more profitable. it is everybody's in the business job to be thinking, how can we be more profitable? The person in customer service should be thinking about, how can I help a customer out to increase retention and save them and prevent them from canceling? And how can I do an excellent job so that there's no chargebacks and like refunds and refunds and chargebacks, like that can cripple a business, right? All that stuff really hurts the bottom line. And if you get enough chargebacks and your merchant account gets dinged, and you can get in real serious trouble real quick, especially when you're at scale. So by being transparent about like the importance of that and how it impacts the bottom line, and for people to be able to look at the financials and see how it's affecting the bottom line, that gives them the motivation and the inspiration to take that ownership and be proactive and constantly be thinking about not, the business owner shouldn't just be thinking about profitability. Everyone in the business should be thinking about profitability. And I think that way too about comp, salaries, difficult conversations to have, right? But suddenly, like I've seen this so many times in teams where, one person discovers what the other person's making, and then, because it's, there's no transparency on it. And then there's resentment because they feel like this person's making too much, or I'm making too little, or whatnot. Transparency should be, I want to be very open about like what I make, what people in customer service makes. And everyone should feel like, yeah, that's fair. I see what they do during Scrum. I see what they're getting done every day. Am I kind of here? No, okay, cool. So I don't want there to ever be those question marks like, what's Matt getting paid? Or, what's the copywriter making, and is that fair? Like, let's have these discussions. All right. The best disinfectant is sunlight. And I know those are difficult conversations, but as a business owner, you got to have them. And if you're scared to have those conversations, then you're in the wrong line of work. And really it's just all these things tie together, right? Being transparent about your financials, being transparent about your feedback and performance. Like if you're open and honest about your feedback and everyone's clear on like who's performing well and who's struggling, which happens through Scrum and which happens through, your morning stand-ups and things like that, then there shouldn't be a debate about or ill will about who's making what. And especially if you start it early on in the company, it usually happens. And I think we need to get this even clearer on our own team and be more transparent about comp and things like that, so everyone knows what everyone's making. But if you start the business with transparency, you don't have to worry about that ill will later on. And then suddenly, oh, the cat's out of the bag. We now know what everyone else is making. That can cause dissatisfaction really, really fast and really hurt a team's morale. So if you can start a business with that level of transparency, it's a lot easier to maintain it than not being transparent and then having to implement that strategy later on. Okay. So those are the core components when I think about transparency. I think about transparency and feedback. I think about transparency and what in progress people are making on a day-to-day basis and what they're getting done. And I think about transparency in financials and the P&L and what comp looks like across the company, right? So radical transparency on all levels. It's hard, it's uncomfortable, but ultimately it really just helps the business overall. All right, and that was a very long to talk about one of the core principles in company culture, which is transparency. The next thing I would say would be extreme ownership, and that is really just the belief that you should be able to, when you see a problem in the business, you have the power and you have the belief and expectation that you should go and fix it, right? Extreme ownership, terminology from Jocko. But from the book of the same title, highly recommend you read it. When I was working at Paradigm Press, which was a division in Agora, we had posters in the hallways about extreme ownership and how important it is, and quotes from the book. I mean, it's critical that, and especially when you're such a small team. I alluded to this earlier. Like, no one should have titles. when you're that small, or like they may have titles, but like just ignore them for most of the time because they're a drag on the business. And the moment you have titles, you lose extreme ownership. So if people think like I am I'm an affiliate manager, so that means anything outside of that, like I don't do, right? Anytime I'm talking with, if I ever talk to an employee and I start hearing things like them bringing up job descriptions or that's not my role, or yeah, I'm helping this person with that. Like, no, this isn't just like you going outside of your expectations. The expectations are that anyone on the team can do anything, right, to make the business better. And when you see a problem, if you have the power to fix it, then go and fix it, right? And so that's what I believe when it comes to extreme ownership, is that like I said, I wear a lot of hats in the business. I get my hands dirty. I answer customer service tickets. I go into ClickFunnels and make edits to our funnels if I see something's broken. If I need to, I send out the emails and Infusionsoft. Like there's nothing in this business outside of maybe some hardcore programming that we get our dev to do that I can't do myself. And that doesn't mean that I necessarily do everything. I definitely I'm looking too much like Rich with the purple. So I like the white. I don't know. I think red's a little, it's like I'm Santa Claus or something. And greens, I don't know. I think green makes me look too young, like a gamer. I think the white is just kind of like clean and nice and fresh. But when I'm designing the business, I want to give people the tools and the training so that they have the knowledge and resources to own anything in the business, right? Like everyone on our team, for example, has access to our CRM. They can go in, they can set up an email. They know how to look up a customer's information. I want my copywriter knowing how to use Infusionsoft and setting up automations and things like that. That's not just the dev's responsibility. Like if suddenly tomorrow, someone on the team gets ill or gets hit by a bus, we need to have we need to be on, someone on the team has to fill in from them. Like in the Navy SEALs, like, the medic isn't just the medic, right? The medic can do all types of things, and everyone has basic training on how to apply first aid and patch up a wound, when you're in the military and working on the special forces. And it's the same way in the business, especially when it's such a small team. So I make sure that for the most part, like, I want multiple people throughout the team who can just do almost anything like I can, right? People tend to focus more on like getting someone who's just an expert on one thing and that's all they do and they're really good at that. And that's cool. And that, sometimes there's a need for that, but I'd prefer to have someone who's just really hungry and can do anything and doesn't feel like they're limited in what they will or will not do. Yes, I want them to have an expertise or like a primary skill set, but that doesn't prevent them from moving outside those boundaries and putting on a different hat if it means getting things done. See you, Sean. Appreciate you staying on and your comments, man. Really appreciate it a lot. So extreme ownership, got to be proactive, got to step in. I never want to hear that's not my job, especially being on a small team. And if you're interviewing people and they're asking questions about their job description or like, what your hours are and pay time off and shit like that, like, and they know like you're a team of 5, then they're asking the wrong questions. They are not cut out for that. Okay. Like I told you my schedule earlier, but that's not rigid. I work weekends, and everyone on my team, it's not like I'm saying you got to work 80 hours a week. That's not how it works. We are a ROE business, results only environment. I don't care what hours you work. I care that you're on the morning stand up every day. So that's just like less than an hour that I expect you to be participating in. But outside of that, I don't care what hours you work. You work the weekends, you can work after 5, you can work before 9. Okay. but get the work done. So if anyone on your team starts thinking like, oh my goodness, I only do 9 to 5, only 9 to 5s Monday through Friday, and I need my 2 weeks PTO, and that's it. Like I clock in and clock out. And you're a small team, that is going to kill you. It's going to kill you. You can't do it. All right. So that's extreme ownership. Got two more for these core tenets, and then I will answer Giancarlo's question. All right. Third tenet: ready, fire, aim. Okay. This is a principle invented by the great Mark Ford, the founder of Agora. And most people think ready, aim, fire, but this kind of flips it a little bit: ready, fire, aim. So ready means MVP, minimum viable product, and not just product, but also marketing. Like, how quickly can we create a funnel? How quickly can we create an offer that we just sell, right? And sometimes that means you don't even have a sales letter. Sometimes it just means throwing up an order form. Okay. So how quickly can you get revenue in the door, get test through small incremental experiments, whether that's just like writing a Facebook ad and sending it to an order form, writing an email and sending it to an order form. What is the smallest increment of work that you need to have so you can get a result? Okay. So ready, fire, aim, and then it's like once you have that those results, then you can optimize. Okay, and it's incremental, right? Like for example, when we started, when we spun out of Agora and we had to completely rebuild all of our funnels, what I didn't want to do the conventional Agora promo where it's like something really topical, like a 60-page sales letter, turn it into a VSL, and hope that converts nice cold traffic. Because I knew doing something like that is really, really hard. Writing a VSL that converts on cold traffic, most of the time it's not going to work. It might convert like 1 out of 3 times or 1 out of 4 times. And as a small business, like we can't afford that kind of risk. We can't afford to invest a month of time in writing a sales letter or a VSL that has a 30 or 25% chance of working. So what I really did was just like, okay, I just need to create something that gets sales and that is evergreen. Like it's not going to expire right away. It's just straightforward, and we can get more creative later on. We can add new leads to it. We could add new headlines to it. We could tweak the offer, add more bonuses and premiums to it. So, and that's why like when we did this, the first thing I wanted to do was build out just that $1 trial offer. And it's so offer driven. It just it's basic as hell. Like the most copywriters would look at that and be like, yeah, okay. And to be 100% honest, like it is not A copy. It is B copy, B plus at best. Like the writing is okay, but we got it done fast. We got it out, and it just cranks out sales every single month. And it is like a consistent double and single for our business, both internally and when affiliates promote it, when they're contributing to Steal Our Winners and they're teasing the new issue coming out. And so we've been able to take that one offer, the $1 trial, and then use it and get leverage out of it so many ways and extend the life out of it, right? And so that was something that I could do quickly that would have a relatively sure chance of success. I knew it was never going to be a home run, but I knew that it was safe. And if we could just get it out fast, then that would just mean revenue, and we could incrementally scale it up from there, right? And that was one of the best decisions we made. So it wasn't, shooting for the moon, trying to make it perfect, working really hard to get an offer that's just we know is gonna crush on cold traffic. The $1 trial is never going to be a cold offer like Blockbuster, right? But I knew that going in, and I knew that the risk, I could mitigate the risks. I could get it out quickly, and then I could iterate. And then once I get that cash flow in the door, then we can use that to invest in building out a copy team, taking more, shots on goal, taking bigger risks with moonshots that maybe high risk, but have the opportunity for really high upside. But we couldn't do that if we didn't have consistent cash flow in the business. And if we're not cash flow positive, then it's way too much of a risk to try to invest a lot of time in building out a product that requires lots of fulfillment, or worrying about things like high production value of videos, or making these awesome highly produced YouTube videos, or even still our winners. Like, it has been a gradual process where we launched it early on. It was just a little basic, and we've slowly added new features to it, and we actually have a lot more features that we're about to be rolling out very, very soon, and new features we're going to be adding to the membership site. But it didn't happen all at once. It started very, very incrementally. It started with, actually, I have a great quote. So Mark Ford, right, who invented Ready, Fire, Aim, I was reading his newsletter the other day, and he was working on the second edition of the book, and he shared a piece of that in his newsletter. And I thought it was just a great synopsis of Ready, Fire, Aim. And I shared it with our team because I think it's so important. So I'm going to read that to you. So this was Mark Ford. The Ready, Fire, Aim strategy is about starting off with a good and fair relationship with your customers and building on that by giving them more and more. Okay. So the key part there is a good and fair relationship. Okay. When you're starting, it's not going to be a perfect product. It's not going to be the best in the business. But if you have an offer and you're providing value for a fair price, that's a good and fair relationship, right? You're not going to be able to blow people out of the water on day one. That's just a fact. Okay. And if you're trying to do that, then it's unlikely that your business is going to even make it to launch, depending on how much spending and investment is going into that product, right? And chances are, if you're spending all that time early on to do that, and you're not getting feedback on it, you could launch it, and then people are like, well, why did you add all these features? We don't even need them, right? So a lot of times, as a product creator, you have lots of ideas. You can think about every single facet of the product that would make it better. But probably 80% of those features people aren't going to be using right away, or they might glance at or think are cool, but don't actually get value out of, right? So what are the 20% of the features that 80% of your customers are actually going to use? So, and I'll finish the quote here. By resisting the urge to overanalyze the business plan and over-refine the product prior to launch, Ready, Fire, Aim gives you more cash and, just as important, more flexibility for aiming the business and improving the product line thereafter. Put differently, by launching your business when it's good enough but not yet perfect, you give yourself extra time and money and customer feedback to make it perfect later on. And you do that without sacrificing your chances of success. I couldn't have said it better, Mark Ford. So absolutely, Ready, Fire, Aim is critical to how we operate as a business to ensure that we're not wasting time, we're getting results fast, we're listening to our market and seeing what they want and incrementally improving from there. And that's how you scale sustainably. Last thing, and then I promise, Giancarlo, I'll get to your question earlier about Justin Goff. Last thing is provide insane value. And I know this kind of contradicts the first one, Ready, Fire, Aim, right? Provide insane value. Like, yeah, you want to provide insane value. You want people to open your product or view it and see what you have to offer and be like, wow, like I feel like the ROI on this, or just like the amount I'm getting in return in terms of what I can make, or how much time this is saving me, or just the way it changes my life is worth way more than what I'm spending on the product. Yes. Okay. But the caveat is that is the long-term goal, right? And you get there incrementally. Okay. So providing insane value, and that doesn't just apply to the product. That applies to how we interact with our customers and in customer service. When people are reaching out and needing help, are we making sure that we're going the extra mile? If they, ask, if they're like, oh, I don't know how to find this product, are we telling them, oh, it's under this section in the membership site? Or are we actually just like giving them the link so they can just click it and make it easy for them, right? Let's provide insane value. Let's hold people's hand. Let's make it easy on them. Let's make them have a great experience with every facet of the business. And again, like the caveat is ready, fire, aim. Ready, fire, aim takes precedent over providing insane value. First, you got to provide fair value. And then incrementally over time, that value, as you add and build on top of that, becomes providing insane value. Okay. But first, you need the cash flow to make sure the lights stay on. And then you can dial it in, ramp it up, and really you reinvest that cash into making a better product, into building out a team and building out new features and creating that moat around your business and your product that allows you to really stand out in the marketplace and outperform your competition. All right. That one's pretty straightforward. I don't need to elaborate on that anymore. And I need a 10-second breath anyways, so I can slow my heart rate down. I should have my heart rate monitor active so I can like see how fast I'm rocking and rolling here. Woo. Yeah, let's see here. But all right, give me 1 second. Yeah. 84. Wow, 94 beats per minute. Yeah. It's pretty high for just like sitting here talking. 100 beats per minute. Now I'm looking at it, it's going up. It's just like ching ching ching. 102. Oh no. Oh man. All right. Giancarlo, let's get back to that question because it was a good question. And so I respect that. All right. So that was not the question. All right. I am in Justin Goff list, and he's been emailing me for a month now, but never pitches or even put a link to something. How come is that he is so successful by barely selling? Your thought on that, please. Sure. So Justin Goff is an excellent copywriter, and he is very successful. I completely agree. And I think it is important to have lots of editorial emails. I've kind of fallen off on that as I've been getting more and more involved in the day-to-day operations in the business. And we used to, used to write a lot more emails that were just complete value. And as I'm growing the team, we're actually going to get more. We're going to get back to that because having just editorial that's very informative and educational does a lot of things for your business, like increases open rates, increases engagement. You're less likely to fall into spam traps. And, great deliverability is critical nowadays, especially as you're scaling up. And just building goodwill, right? You want people to enjoy reading your content. You want people to get value out of your emails and everything. And my copy mentor from when I first started, Mike Palmer, always told me that, and this, he got from Gary Bencivenga, who I'm pretty sure got it from David Ogilvy, and that's the copy should be valuable in itself. So just on a side note here, you can be writing sales emails that have a pitch and still provide a lot of value and education in those emails. So just noodle on that for a second, but also note that as you mentioned, you've only been on Justin Goff's list for a month. And while he doesn't pitch in every email, he definitely does pitch. And occasionally he just doesn't, obviously he's very thoughtful about the offers he runs to his lists. And we as a business too, try to be very thoughtful about who we promote, right? And we, for example, we'll never promote something if we don't actually believe in the product. Bottom line. I believe that, Rich believes that, and we are ruthless with who we say yes and no to. Some people might look at, the copy, and we've gotten feedback from customers about like, oh, this promo is scammy. Like we were recently promoting inbound closer from Traffic and Funnels, and like the promo is very kind of business opportunity to like, but it's legit. Like I know Chris and Taylor, and I know the results that their training gets, and I've seen the success of their closers, and I know the legitimate, like, just because something's a biz op offer doesn't mean it doesn't work. I've bought plenty of biz op offers myself. And I think the thing with biz op offers is that people who are attracted to those offers tend to not just be good customers and they just want a quick fix and they want a Band-Aid and they want to get rich overnight anyway. So it doesn't work out for them because like that's what they're attracted to. They want the bright, shiny object and the quick fix. And I know Giancarlo, I'm kind of going off on another tangent again, not really answering your question. But I just want to just make that note that like, be thoughtful about what you're promoting, and just because, yeah, enough said. But like I said, I was also saying that, look, you've only been on his list for a month. He does promote a lot, actually. He probably promotes at least once a month, I would think. I've gotten direct response, even mail from Justin Goff. Actually, give me one moment here. You want to see a cool pitch from Justin Goff? Confidential information for Matt Rizvi from Justin Goff. Time sensitive. Please open. Okay. This is way fucking better than a FedEx envelope. All right. This this gets opened. All right. Like this, we talk about direct response copywriters, man. They love seeing something like this. This shocks people. This is surprising, right? And that, I got that when he was pitching his, he had a live mastermind event before he launched Copy Accelerator. And so that's how he pitched it. He sent out an email from his assistant asking for my address, because he and I'm sure he did that to everyone on the list. His assistant reached out, hey, this is Justin Goff's assistant, and I'd love your address because I'd love to send you something special. And then I got that in the mail, and it was full of a long sales letter and a bunch of other stuff. And no, Giancarlo, I'm not going to ship it to you because I'm never getting rid of that. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, so that was a pitch. He pitches his Copy Accelerator. He pitches his Copy Accelerator live events, and he does do affiliate offers. Like, I found the company we use for our tracking for metrics and our reporting, who've built out us a system for like knowing our lifetime value and all that stats and stuff. Like, I found out about that company from an affiliate campaign Justin Goff was running from them. Okay. So there's plenty of times when he does pitch and he does sell, and Justin Goff just tends to have, when he does sell, Justin tends to promote back-end products. Also, Justin Goff promoted Steal Our Winners at the end of December. So he was our affiliate. He promoted our offer. He did very, very well for us. Thank you, Justin. But he's just very selective about it, right? And he wants to do stuff that he really believes in. And I have tons of respect for that. And also because he's mostly promoting high-ticket back-end offers. And like, as I was alluding to earlier, that's where all the money is made, and that's where the margin is. Because so he spends most of the time building up that goodwill, educating people, building that relationship with his readers. And so they're ravenous, and they open all of his emails. And so that when it does come time to pitch, right, they're highly engaged, and they're extremely hot, right? They're very hot leads. And we saw that in the campaign he ran for us. For the size of his list he had, he blew away a lot of affiliates who've promoted offer who have much larger lists. So that is that's how I would say Justin Goff is so successful. It's not because he doesn't sell. He definitely does sell, but he sells good products that he believes in. And then in the interim, he builds goodwill with his audience to increase engagement, increase deliverability, reduce spam complaints, end up in that primary inbox, and get, and then everyone is just super hot. And because he doesn't do so often, it becomes a pattern interrupt almost. It's very different than like if you're selling every day, for example, then people just expect each email to be a sales pitch and they stop reading, right? So if you have that variation, if you have that contrast where some emails are selling, some emails are teaching, then you're keeping people on your toes, you're keeping them engaged, you're providing value to them, and they're wanting to read all your content, but also build goodwill, and then they want to buy the products that you use and the products that you endorse. So that is my thoughts on that, and I think that's a good explanation. That was gold. Thank you for replying, Matt. No offense, but he answered this question more. Glad I could answer, Giancarlo. I did think it was a good question, and happy to do it. All right. Whew, I got 15 minutes left. Almost going to have a heart attack soon. So last thing I want to talk about is the 2 hardest jobs in our business to fill. Okay. And one of them is really going to really surprise you. And if you're a small business like we are, especially if you're in the direct response business, then I suspect that these 2 positions are going to be critical for you too, and also very difficult to fill. Okay. So the first job for us that's really hard to fill, and it shouldn't be a surprise, is copywriter. Finding a good copywriter is one of the hardest things in the business to do. When I got started as a junior copywriter at Stansberry, Mike Palmer told our class of copywriters, because when I got hired, I'd started in customer service, and then I really wanted to be a copywriter, and I knew that going in, and I was just super hungry. I would nag my boss all the time, being like, "Hey, can I send copy review? Can I just go and sit in on copy review?" And I would, during happy hours, I'd go up to all the copywriters and I'd ask them what it's like to be a copywriter and ask for their advice. And I really just wanted to soak up all I could. And so when the opportunity arose for me to become a copywriter, for like when they started hiring, that, I was a preferred candidate. And so that's what happened. 6 months into me doing customer service at Stansberry, they were hiring copywriters, and they hired a big batch of copywriters. And it's not like I just got the job because I was in CS. I had to go through all the hoops that everyone else did and submit copy. And there was different assignments we had to do, spec assignments, things like that. But as this class of copywriters, one of the first things Mike Palmer said to us was that if you work in this business for 2 to 3 years and you learn everything you can about copywriting, you are never going to have to worry about getting a job again. And when he said that, like everyone's eyes were like lit up, and he was 100% right. I can look to that class and see that class of copywriters who came in with me, and one of them didn't make it a month, and she just got cut right away because she was not working out. But there was about seven of us. The other 6 are highly successful copywriters, and even some have gone on and left Stansberry and have never had to worry about work again. Right? I was one of them. The moment I left Stansberry, I just had people hitting me up, being like, "Are you doing freelance work? Okay, do you want to write copy for us?" And I had one person who I had never even worked with her directly. She was actually a publisher of a different business in Agora. She just knew that I was an Agora copywriter. I'd left. I had the chops because I had been working, in that system for 2.5 years, and because of that, she referred 4 different clients to me, right? Because of that experience, and that's because it is so hard to find good copywriters. It's not just good copywriters who have that experience. And it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, that to be a good copywriter, you have to be in an environment where you're getting constant feedback. When I was writing copy at Stansberry, we were doing copy review twice a week. So that doesn't mean you're submitting copy to each review, but they had 2 opportunities every single week to get your copy reviewed, right? So need to keep that feedback loop short. You don't want there to be too much time between when you write and when you get your feedback, and make sure that process is iterative and you can move fast. But the problem with most copywriters is that they don't have that, right? Most copywriters get attracted to the idea of copywriting because they want that freelancer lifestyle dream. And I got to achieve that after leaving and after cutting my teeth and after paying my dues and, building up this skill, right? But if you haven't done that first and you're just like, oh, I want to write copy, and you take a copywriting course or whatever, and maybe you write some emails. But if you start copywriting as a freelancer and that's all you've ever done, you've never worked in a house, you've never had a mentor, you've never had like a copy chief who's looking over your shoulder every day. Writing copy is like a classical tradesman. Like you're a craft. It is a craft. You're a craftsman, right? And you have to have that mindset as a copywriter, where it's like you're a junior, which means you're an apprentice essentially, and you have a senior who's the master, and they're going to teach you the craft. And if you don't have that, which 90% of copywriters out there don't, and they've never had that in their career ever. And because of that, it's like practice in sports, right? Like if I were to go out and practice throwing a baseball pitch every single day, right? I might slightly improve, but I'm never actually I'm gonna plateau because I'm not getting feedback. I don't have a coach next to me who's like, this is how you do a knuckleball. This is how you do a fastball. This is, this is where you want to line your pitch. Like I'm not a baseball expert, so I can't even extend this metaphor much longer. But, but the point is, David Paul's saying there, practice, practice, practice. And yeah, it's really important to practice. But if you're not practicing and getting feedback, and if you're not practicing the right way, like you can build a lot of bad habits, and you can practice till your face turns blue. But eventually, if you're not getting feedback, you're going to plateau. And that's the problem with most copywriters, is that they've never had that feedback. And so they've just plateaued. They think they're good. They're like, oh, I've been writing copy for 4 years, for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. But when I compare their copy to someone who's worked in-house with an actual master copywriter, they're probably the equivalent of someone who's been writing copy a year. No lie. The difference between someone who's been working under a master copywriter for 2 or 3 years versus someone who's never had that. And like I would put my money on someone with in-house experience with a really, really good copywriter versus someone who's been writing copy as a freelancer for 7 years, a decade. I'll take the person with 2 or 3 years experience, but who's actually worked with a pro and gotten the feedback and helped them work through that. And even when I'm working with our in-house copywriter or copywriters I've recruited, over my career or brought into the different businesses I've worked with, and as I'm coaching them and I'm training them, like it's a constant process to see how they improve. And we start with short form copy like Facebook ads, emails, things like that. That stuff's it's not easy, but it's easier than writing long form VSLs or sales letters or 60-page stuff like that, right? And then the thing about copywriting is that you've never really reached mastery. You can always get better. And marketing and platforms are constantly changing. And so you're having to add new wrinkles to your copy over time. So you start off with writing short form copy, and then you kind of expand into more longer form copy. But at this point, really, you're still sticking with text, right? And then kind of you start, at least this was the trajectory for us. I think nowadays, like if you're working for a media buying agency, you might skip around. Maybe you never write long form, but you'll skip to, instead of writing text, you start writing scripts for videos, right? And so video is another wrinkle that you have to master as well, right? You have to start thinking in visually, like what are the graphics going to be? What are the transitions going to be? You have to be more like a screenwriter than just a copywriter. And you have to be thinking like you would as a director, and have notes in there for the production team on how exactly visually things should be laid out and executed. And that stuff takes a lot of time and experience and skill to master too. So you're constantly adding new levels and layers onto your copy to get to the point where you're actually good, right? So, Jack, our in-house copywriter, he's really good at emails now. Like I've seen him progress a lot and just level up his email game. And he got an amazing testimonial the other day. We were writing custom swipe copy for one of our affiliates who's going to promote next week. And we sent over the copy for her to use. And it was a combination of like some kind of templates we've worked on together. And then also I have him do some custom copy based off the contributor's email or the contributor's interview she did for Steal Our Winners, right? So it is custom. It's unique to her. She saw that copy and she wrote us back an email that was like, wow, I just got to say, this copy is the best copy I've ever received from an affiliate partner. She was just like gobsmacked. And she is someone who's really big in the business, who does affiliate promos all the freaking time. And this was the best copy she's ever gotten, right? And that's the kind of like, and again, our in-house copywriter hasn't been doing this for a decade, right? It's just something that we've worked on it, we've practiced it, he's gotten the feedback, and we've gradually added polish to his copywriting chops. And now I feel pretty good. Like most of the time when I'm seeing his email copy, I can make one or two tweaks. Maybe I'll rework the subject line, because that's really one of the most important things of the email. But I'm really not having to do much. Like in the beginning, I might have to completely rework some sections, cut paragraphs, or sometimes like an angle just needs to go all the way back to the drawing board. But to just see that progress, and like that can be made pretty quickly when he's made that transition and that leveling up process very fast because of the feedback. And that's why back to my original point, that's why finding a good copywriter is so freaking hard. Okay. So most of the time, I don't even want to find experienced copywriters out in the open market. I just want to find people who are hungry, who show a little bit of gumption and are willing, who believe in those cultural tenets we were talking about earlier of extreme ownership and ready, fire, aim, and getting feedback and things like that. And if they can hustle and they can take my feedback, and I'm not having to tell them to correct the same mistakes over and over and over again, then I can turn them into a really good copywriter. And so that's really what I'm looking for. And so I don't even search for the most part, like unless I know the person and I know their copy chops and I know they've worked in-house and their expertise, and I've seen their work firsthand. And those people are really expensive. So let's be real. So it's like you're either going to find someone who's very green but hungry, and you got to coach up. And if that's the type of person you need to have someone in your business who can give them the feedback and give them the coaching to get them to the level you need them to be. Or you have to go out and cut a big check for a senior copywriter who has that kind of experience, and they're not cheap at all, and they're going to want a huge royalty from that as well. So that's why copywriters are the hardest position for us to fill in our business, and they're so valuable. And when I find a good copywriter, I want to do whatever I can to retain them. And I believe so much in creating a culture and process internally where we can train and teach our copywriters in-house, because really that's our core competency. That's one of my core competencies, and that's one of our strengths as a business. So we don't have to pay stupid amounts of money to go hire a copywriter. We have the advantage that we can build out an in-house copy team. Kind of going back to earlier, someone was asking what do I look for in a media buyer? That's not my core competency, right? So I don't have a lot of experience buying media. I know a lot about media buying, and I've bought media, but I'm not a pro media buyer who can just train someone in-house to buy media. That's why we go externally for that. All right. But copy, since we have the chops, since we got the people in-house who can train copywriters, then I'm going to use that to my advantage. Pay less for a junior copywriter and know that I can level them up over time. Second, the other hardest job to fill, and this is the one that no one's going to expect. And this has been really, really challenging for me to find the right person for this. And that is customer service, man. Like, no joke, finding someone who's good at customer service is actually really freaking hard. David Paul, let me answer some of your questions here before I jump right into this. Davey, I'm glad you may at least caught the end of the match show. Like Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice, and yeah, that's when you can't F it up. Practice adapt for sure. But again, there's watching the same things over and over again. Like watching trainings can only get you so far. You have to watch the trainings, get feedback, and then practice, right? So it's a combination of all three. You got to go out there and learn. You got to put it into practice, and then you got to go get feedback on that practice. I once asked one to do a quick sample, and they bugged out on me. Is that wrong? Not at all. Not at all, dude. Let me, for some context, I found Jack, our in-house copywriter, by doing a copy challenge to my in-house list when I was teaching copywriting, when I had a copy business and I was a copy coach. And so I did a copy challenge where it was like, do this free spec assignment. I'm not going to pay you, but this is how you're going to prove yourself. And if you do a good job, then you're going to make it past stage 1. And stage 2, I ended up paying people just like a nominal amount to do the next assignment, which got them to stage 3 and like vetting them through a funnel basically. All right. So step 1 is do a spec assignment for free. And that will weed out most people, hands down. That actually happened just today. So like I had someone reach out to us at Strategic Profits. He was like, hey man, I would love to write copy for Strategic Profits. And like we're growing as a business right now. And like I said, like I need some hungry copywriters. And if he's like, he's willing to write some copy for free to prove himself, to show he's got a little bit there. Like, and again, this is one of those people who I don't know how good he is. He's been freelancing a long time and not necessarily had that feedback that I'm really looking for. So I'm not ready to just like cut the guy a check because he has quote unquote experience. I need to see it first. And so we got on a call. I gave him assignment, and the assignment, I wanted to write just a headline and lead. So that's like 4 pages worth of copy for a $60 winners offer. And he was supposed to come to copy review today to pitch us on the idea that he was going to write about. So that was step 1. Come to copy review. You'll sit down with me and our team. You'll pitch us the idea of the angle, and we'll, if we like it, and it was not, I wanted him to pitch us more than one idea. I wanted like pitch us as many ideas as he got, and I'll tell you which ones are good. And then from there we can move forward. And then hour and a half before copy review, I get an email and he flakes out. Right. So, well, that made my decision super easy. Right. Like those are not the type of people that like, of everything I just described today about hiring and what I look for, like flaky, you're gone. Right. So that's cool. That I appreciate you reaching out and trying, bud. But if you're not willing to even just show up and for a copy review, and you wait till the last minute to let me know that you're not coming, like I don't even care what the reason is, right? So he's like, oh, I got another opportunity. Cool, whatever. But like that screen tells me a lot about someone, right? And I want to work with people who are hungry and want to work with us really, really bad, and understand that there's huge opportunity if they do a good job. And I mean, just look at Jack, right? Like he did the same thing, and now he's a full-time. And Jack's not just the only one. Like I've worked with a lot of copywriters who I've gotten jobs with, and with in-house jobs who are making really good money now. And I've known people who end up becoming like directors of marketing in their business, who I've coached, right? Or end up starting their own business and things like that. So the value of like working with someone who's really good, there is a lot of value with that. And if someone doesn't see that value and isn't willing to put in the hustle and the sweat equity to achieve that, then that's my first screen right there. So absolutely, Davey, like that is not wrong at all to do a quick sample or do a spec assignment to prove themselves. I do it all the time. That's how I screen people out when I'm hiring juniors, for sure. Jason, appreciate it, man. Always love it when you're jumping on the live streams. I'm glad you got a lot of value out of it, man. All right, for a business owner who doesn't want to become a pro copywriter, but is committed to constantly improving, any insider tips on how they can consistently improve? Yeah, in that case, find a coach, or someone who can critique your copy, or I know Giancarlo brought up Justin Goff earlier. They got the copy accelerator, him and Stephen Georgi. It's those guys are super talented, and I have no problem endorsing their copy accelerator. I think it's fantastic. I went to their copy accelerator live event. It's actually how I got connected eventually with Rich. And so I have nothing but great things to say about them, and I would highly recommend it. It's very, it's not cheap. So if you're really willing to invest in your copy skills, then I would do that. But also if you want someone who's, if you're looking for a copywriter who is getting feedback like that, they do recruiting too, right? So I think like if you reach out to them and if you're actually willing to pay the kind of money like you need to get a decent copywriter, I think they'll like send out notes or emails or whatever, letting people know that you have a job opportunity. But again, just depends on like what your budget is. But copywriters are expensive. It's an investment, and it's either you're gonna pay for it in money or you're gonna pay for it in time and training. So it's really up to you. But if you personally want to get better as a copywriter, then yeah, you need to find a coach to get that feedback. And Copy Accelerator would probably be a good place to start. When we do launch our own coaching program, we are going to have an in-house copy expert available during office hours for our coaching students to submit their copy and get it reviewed. I don't know if that's me yet, or if we're going to bring in someone with some chops. Ideally, someone who's even better than me. I mean, we know a lot of people like that. Like, I'm not the world's greatest copywriter by any stretch of the imagination, but we definitely want to make that part of our offering of the coaching program. But again, that's just like one of the components that we'll be launching. But if you're looking at someone specifically for copy reviews and things like that, I would recommend Justin's program. All right. Yeah. Copy agencies fucking suck. Never. I would not work with a copywriting agency. And that's probably like a very blanket statement. And that it might not be totally true always, but chances are, like, if you're working with a copy agency, you're going to get really C quality work. I would suspect 90% of the time. All right, just back to customer service real quick. I've been running long, and I just want to let you know final thoughts on why it's so hard to train someone in customer service. Okay. On the surface, it seems like customer service should be very, very easy. You're just dealing with customers. The problem with customer service is that the longer you're in business, the more history you build as a business, the more offers you've launched, the more products you've launched, the more marketing campaigns, the more nuances and context that you need to know to handle any different customer service problem. Like, for example, like Rich had the business previously, right, for over a decade. And so like there's all these legacy customers who had products that we don't sell anymore, right? So anytime someone, if an old customer is messaging in and asking about GPS, like someone who's brand new to customer service can be like, what the fuck is GPS? We sell steel arrow winners, we sell BGS. What's GPS, right? And so then I have to explain to them what GPS is and like how we make our where folks can get the archive content and things like that. Or if someone signs up for our docuseries and then they're like, can you send me the video with Maxwell Finn? And a customer service just gets that answer and is like, can I send you the video with Maxwell Finn? Well, what video are you talking about? And then they have to like think critically, and they have to like do some detective work, and they have to like look in their account and see like what funnels they've opted into recently. And then they'd be like, oh, you opted into CSIB. And they have to know the context of everything that's in that funnel. And they have to know that, well, in episode 26 is Maxwell Finn interviewed by Rich Sheffrin, right? That's what they're looking for, right? And customers often will be very vague or unspecific. And so you have to know a lot about the business to quickly identify exactly what they're talking about. And so it requires an extreme amount of institutional knowledge. And unless you have extremely detailed SOPs and documentation of every single thing your business has done that they can search and reference in FAQs and all that stuff, and like we're gradually building it out. Like it takes time, and you kind of have to do it. You can't do it all in advance. You kind of have to do it on the job. Like as you're training a person, if you see a customer service ticket creep up all the time, then they're like, oh, let's create a canned response for this. This is kind of the template we use when we answer this question. Here's what you can say when X situation arises. But just the amount of time it takes to onboard a customer service person and get them up to speed where they don't need supervision and they're not constantly asking questions about what does this mean? What is this person talking about? How do I do this? It is so freaking hard. Okay. I've been onboarding our newest person doing customer service for like 2 months. And that means like me making myself available for 1 to 2 hours a day, just so I can like be on Zoom with them. And if any questions come up about a ticket, I can be there to answer it for them. And it is a huge investment of my time. And I'm hoping it that works out and it pays off. But it's like I have to make sure like they have to know every component of the business. Like, and that's why ultimately I want to like I would 100% of the time like recruit internally from CS. Like I started as a copywriter coming from customer service, and being part of a customer service actually made me a much better copywriter because I knew all the objections that people had when they would call in customer service. I'd know what their complaints are. I could predict beforehand where they would like get tripped up on copy or what would be confusing to them and where they would have issues. And so now I can avoid that, and I can build systems in our business or structure our marketing or our copy or our fulfillment in ways that help reduce those customer service issues and just give a better customer experience. And also, like as in customer service, you do a bit of selling on the phone too. So you get to learn it. You have to know everything about the product. You have to know everything about the customer. You hear their stories all the time and what they're struggling with. Like doing customer service is probably the fastest path for you to becoming like a COO in the business, or someone who's like really a director. Like 100%, if I would prefer to have excess capacity in the customer service team and just like level a lot of people up. And like if they're not spending like 8 hours a day on customer service, that's cool. That's fine. Like, cause worst case scenario, we scale really fast and then suddenly we get flooded with customer service tickets. It's better to have too much customer service than not enough, right? Because that can, again, as we were talking about earlier, chargebacks, refunds, stuff like that, that's what kills a business. And so if you don't have a customer service team who's constantly on top of that and quickly getting people's refunds, quickly addressing those issues to prevent chargebacks, that can really hurt your merchant account. Okay, so I'd rather have excess capacity in the customer service team, invest in those people, get them leveled up, create great SOPs, teach them everything about the business because that's going to make them better customer service reps. And then when new openings coming up in the business, because like at the end of the day, some people will want to be in customer service for a long time. That they're just cut out for it. They enjoy it. They get a lot of experience, fulfillment from it. And it can be fun, right? Like if you have the perception, if you see the value in customer service, like I don't dread customer service. I know it's valuable to the business. And so I don't mind getting in customer service and getting my hands dirty and helping customers out because I know the impact it has. So you need to have people with that mindset. And like some people will enjoy that and want to stick in that role. And maybe they eventually become your director of customer service and help you build out a team and train people. And then other people, they have this now that they know customer service, they have this excellent foundation which they can take to other parts of the business, whether that's becoming a copywriter, a marketing rep, or someone who's managing your affiliate marketing or internal marketing or media buying or what have you. People who want to be more on the operational side or project managers. So really any role in the business, by starting customer service and getting that foundation and learning everything about the customers and the product and just all the institutional knowledge that goes into it, they're going to be way more excellent and qualified in any other role that you recruit from. And they're going to be way more qualified hiring candidates than anyone you pick up off the street who might have lots of experience as a copywriter or lots of experience as a media buyer or lots of experience elsewhere. I'd rather teach a customer service person those skills who's already proven themselves within the business and has the knowledge of like Rich and his background and what we do and what our programs look like and all that stuff, like that takes so much time that I'd rather start with that person and then move them up the chain and give them more opportunity within the business than have to go find someone else externally and then teach them all that stuff. So that is why customer service is so freaking hard to fill, to train, to hire. Like you need someone, and again, they have to have good people skills. They have to be proactive and think like, okay, they have to be great communicators. They have to think, how can I write this email in a way that when I respond, all of the customer's problems are going to be solved and they're not going to have to email me back with questions or being confused or need more, right? You want to get it done within one email, and then the customer responds and says, great, thank you. Oh, you're amazing, right? You want, and it takes a level of thoughtfulness and critical thinking and creative thinking in order to do that well. Customer service is my jam. It's all about listening. Totally right, man. Totally right. For sure, man. A lot of great customer service stories. Working in the trenches there, it was invaluable experience for me, without a doubt. All right, y'all. It's 8:15. I gotta go eat dinner with my wife now. I went longer than I expected. My heart is racing. Let's do a heart rating check. But hope y'all got a ton of value out of it. I've tried hard to bring the heat on this one. I know y'all are probably missing Rich, but hope the puppet master could to make it worth your while on this Thursday night. All right, I'm going to be signing off to higher profits and beyond. Matt Risby, over and out.